Hello, my name is Reverend Asha Burson Johnson. My preferred personal pronouns are she, her, and it is my joy and my honor to be with you on this Wednesday Wisdom Talk. I'm going to start something new this week and open and close with what we call an affirmation or a positive prayer. So that'll just get us a little bit grounded into our time together. So if you choose, I invite you to close your eyes. I just find that helps me sink in a little bit. I know that there is one power and one presence, one light and one life, one love and one law. It goes by many names: God, Spirit, love, energy, the oneness, creative power, and on and on and on. It connects all of life together in one whole, one grand unified wholeness, where there is no separation between the tiniest atoms and the greatest of universes, where there is always just one thing going on: the power of love in action. And I know that I am a part of that great oneness, that resides in and through and as my being, and that is true for all things and all people and all living creatures and all inanimate beings, that everything is caught up in this web of life and is one thing expressing uniquely and divinely as itself. So I know that this time together in this talk on Wednesday, the second Wednesday of the month, February 2022, that this time together is already perfect in this divine mind, that what wants to be said and heard and recognized and felt has a space to do so. And I'm grateful for whatever wisdom moves and resides and expresses as me, and for how it does so in this time. So I let it all go, and I completely trust the process. And I'm grateful for this space and the amazing technology that allows me to be with you now. And so it is. So every now and again, well, every couple of weeks, I'm doing these talks, and I kind of think to myself within the days leading up to the talk, what is it that I want to talk about today? What is it that's wanting to be known through me? And today I got the word investing. I was dealing with some paperwork for my mom with an investment, and the word investing popped in. So I thought, well, that's curious, because we're not talking about stocks and bonds here. We're not talking about that kind of investment. So what does that mean? And why did that float into my consciousness this particular day in this particular time? And I percolated on that for a little while, let it seep into me. And for myself, this has been an interesting time, especially these last few years. And I'm sure, like all of you, we've been thrown into this unknown land where nothing feels familiar, where our normal connections and ways of being with each other and even with ourselves have often had to shift and morph and change. And it's been a challenge for a lot of us. The things that have held us up in the past are no longer available or are just showing up in a different form. And so my question to myself becomes, what am I investing my time and my energy in? And how does that show up? The choices for my investments. How does that show up in my life? If I'm investing in fear or beleaguerment or resentments or a sense of separation from people that I love, how does that show up in my life? Does it make my life better, richer, fuller? Generally not. It's usually a bad investment of my time and my energy. And yet we do it. It's something that we as humans often fall prey to or move to as a default mechanism. When we can't get our needs met in a particular way, we default to the way our 3-year-old might have handled that. And our 3-year-old doesn't always know the best way to invest our time and our energy. an author named Rochelle Goodrich, who wrote Being Bold, Quotes, Poetry, and Motivations for Every Day of the Year. That's a great title. She said, if you invest nothing, the reward is little. If I invest nothing in my physical well-being, I have no reward. If I invest nothing in my knowledge base, if I don't read new books and gain new wisdom through information sources, then I stay stuck in my old thinking and my old patterns. If I don't invest in the relationships that I have with people that I care about, and even those I don't know, if I don't invest a little of myself, a little vulnerability, a little authenticity, a little time, then the reward is very small. When we invest, we don't have to invest everything. They talk about investments, you should diversify. And I think that's very true with ourselves as well. Where is my investment going in my mental well-being? Where is my investment going in my spiritual well-being, my physical well-being, my emotional well-being, my connections in the world? And I can't answer for you where you should be investing your time and your energy and your talents. And I know for myself, when I'm investing in ways that help my life to expand and grow, the results are doubled and tripled easily. And the same goes when I'm investing in fear and doubt and languishing, then that also exponentially grows. And yet the tiniest little step in another direction, the tiniest investment in something that is enlivening to our lives can shift the entire trajectory of the way we've been moving up until that moment. Angel Moreira, another author, said, one of the best things you can do for yourself is invest in yourself. Investing time in ourselves is not selfish. It is of benefit to the world, because when we invest in our own wisdom, our own learning, our own physical well-being, our own healthiness, then we become a beneficial presence even more in the world. That doesn't mean that those people that have chronic illness or can't do physically a lot of things that they used to be able to do or ever could do, that they're not worthy and helpful and beneficial presences in the world. It's not what we do, it's the energy that we exude that changes things, that becomes a positive investment in the life of the world. And yes, that sometimes that looks like what we do, but we don't have to do anything to be a blessing, to be a gift, to be a worthy investment. Deb Haaland, our new Secretary of the Interior, said, we must shift our thinking away from short-term gain toward long-term investment and sustainability, and always have the next generations in mind with every decision we make. She's speaking mostly about the ecology of the world, climate change, and moving away from fossil fuels and all of these things that we now are very clear are creating serious harm in our world. But I think we can also bring that back to ourselves. We must shift our thinking away from short-term gain. I would really love to eat that bowl of ice cream tonight, short-term gain, and instead focus on some long-term well-being for my physical body by not choosing to do that. Again, anybody can eat ice cream. That's not the thing that I'm talking about. But often we look for short-term investments and quick results, especially Americans who are really good at that. I want a quick fix. I want to do it now. I want the results immediately. And we don't have the patience to invest not only for the long term, but for generations to come. And in that generational healing, when we do our own emotional, mental, spiritual healing, we are affecting the generations that come after us, whether we have biological children or not, because the DNA that gets passed on through us and through the world through us, through our interactions with others. As we heal, we are helping to heal future generations. And most especially if you're doing healing in your own life and you have children. There's research now that trauma gets passed along generationally. So First Nations people talk about healing 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. In Science of Mind, in our philosophy, we align with quantum physics. It says there is no space or time. And so when we heal ourselves in the present, we're also healing the future, and we're also healing the past, because time is circular. I'm not going to try to get into the science of all of that, but I love how that connects scientifically and beautifully with our spiritual philosophy. Healing is in the now moment, and yet it ripples out into the past and the future in that exact moment that we invest our time in shifting an old idea into something new. So where are we choosing to spend our time? Where are we choosing to invest our time? In ourselves, in our communities, in our relationships? All across the Olympic Peninsula, we have an interfaith community here, and every year we sponsor a winter read. And this year we're reading a book called Regeneration: How to Solve Climate Change in One Generation. I know that seems impossible, but it's a very beautiful, realistic, and hopeful book. And in this study of this book, there are many groups across the peninsula that are studying it all at the same time, and each group is studying it a little bit differently from each other. And out of that are coming individual actions that each one of us can do to make changes in our own life, to be more environmentally conscious for the generations that are coming behind us. And also community activities. They call them punch lists. So community punch lists. So things that you can do together in your community as groups. And I'm sure that after our book read is done, we're going to figure out some big, giant community activity that all of the groups can come together and participate in. Last year, I participated in a tree planting down by the Elwha River, small little cedar saplings. We planted hundreds and hundreds of them along the riverbed to try to repair some of the damage that had been done when there was a dam across the Elwha River that's now been gone for 10 years or more. And the river is healing itself. But we went and contributed, invested time and energy by planting these trees to further the investment of this reparation of this river valley. And I'll never see those trees come to full fruition. That's an investment where I will never see the return on that investment, because those trees are going to be 40 years old and I'll probably be gone. You never know, I might live to be 100, but let's say I don't. I'm not going to see those 40-year-old trees. But it was worth the investment of my time and my energy to dig holes with a group of people and plant trees that I will never see grow. Because it's healing the future generations. Because we know that what we invest today will grow. And so the choice is, what direction do I want to invest in? Fear or love? Marianne Williamson says those are our only choices. It's either fear or love. So just before I came to do this talk, I was looking at Facebook, just as a little pop-in. And yet again, another beautiful, perfect quote came. The author is Mona Lisa Nyman. You may not be able to change the entire world, but you can release your love and watch its vibrant colors paint the world around you with kindness and patience, and watch your little part of it change for the better. I'm going to read that again. You may not be able to change the entire world, but you can release your love and watch its vibrant colors paint the world around you with kindness and patience, and watch your little part of it change for the better. Invest wisely, my friends. I know that that's something I'm becoming more and more conscious of every day for myself, and I hope you do the same. The returns will be magnified and bounteous. So take a breath. I'm so grateful to have had this time to explore this idea of the investments that we make in ourselves and in the greater world, the choices and the places we choose to spend our time, our talent, our energy, and how they can bless us and bless as a powerful ripple from the center of us out into our world, our direct communities, our counties, our countries, our continents, and the entire planet. I know that there is a powerful something at work through each and every one of us, and each of us has our part, our piece of the puzzle. And I am grateful to know that my part is as it is, and that I'm doing it right now. I release this time. I trust that it has been good, and I let it go right now. And so it is. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday Wisdom Talk. We'll be here again in 2 weeks on the 4th Wednesday of February. I look forward to seeing you again. We'll see what we'll talk about then. Make it a great day. Bye.